Time to get good, noobs! The Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC just dropped! Welcome to Deep Thoughts While Gaming. I'm Chris Chappell. The lore of Elden Ring can be confusing, especially if you have a job and can't devote hundreds of hours to lore videos on YouTube. But what beautiful lore it is, raising questions such as, is it incest if you have a child with yourself? Is it bestiality if it's with a dragon? And why is this man called the Dung Eater? If you've been watching Castanet's marathon playthroughs of Elden Ring, then you know that the path to the Erdtree is both difficult and dangerous, full of conflict and confusing narratives. Are you the hero in a world gone mad, or are you yourself the enemy of the people? It's hard for me to be sure, with the denizens of the lands between attacking me every time I try to talk to them about it, just because I spent the past 100 hours slaying locals for their loot. And yet, I'm the bad guy. Maybe we are the darkness we think we're fighting in the world, and we personally have to change. Looking at the in-game NPCs just doesn't give me that vibe. Something else is wrong in the lands between, and I don't think it's because of these nice dancing ladies. In Elden Ring, as in real life, there may just be larger problems at work than our own personal playthrough. The days of civil discourse are behind us, as even protesters are starting to find it hard to protest without other protesters protesting their protest. Much like in Elden Ring, people spend thousands of hours fighting NPCs, improve their skill sets, hone their arguments, and at the end of the day, still have one question on their minds. What the hell is going on? The NPCs are endlessly respawning, the Erdtree shining off in the distance, full of grand ideals and beautiful spoken word poetry. Seems to be casting a shadow that's made the land utterly uninhabitable. Everything is falling apart. Who's in charge here? Oh, it's a woman. Miyazaki, what are you trying to say? Why, of course, that the lands between need democracy. This theocratic monarch has ruled long enough. Queen Marika was always there next to the Elden Lord, whispering in his ear, controlling the narrative from the background. All the demigods in positions of power are her family, the nepotism. She's got a body count higher than the player, and without knowing anything else about the lore. After thousands of years in charge, isn't that enough information for us to be highly suspect of her abilities to rule? And yet she calls upon you to fight literally everyone but her. Maybe we need some term limits in the lands between. And in the real world, we also have our own problems with aging leaders and career politicians, creating an illusion that they aren't really all working together as part of some unified Elden beast. Marika and Radagon have nothing on Republicans and Democrats. And that the people of the lands between have to be fighting each other, that we're the problem, as we divide further and further into increasingly narrow niches, cliques, and factions. It used to be a simple question. Are you a magic user or the knight? Now, thanks to the Marxist dialectics of struggle, there are different types of magic, sorceries and incantations, each class fracturing into 1,000 different identity groups. Celia sorcery is so different from Carrion sorcery, they both shoot magic pebbles. I don't know, man, I'm just a simple guy with a big sword spamming R1, and I can't help but think those in power are trying to stay in power by making us fight amongst ourselves. Maybe if we peek behind the veil, we might see that it's high time for the people of the lands between to stop fighting amongst themselves, wasting energy on the wrong things, and start to look up to see who is actually pulling the strings and whose bad decisions got us here. Because even if we don't know exactly what strings are being pulled because the lore is way too dense, does it really hurt to give someone else a shot to be in charge? Would term limits really kill us? We need a man of the people, like Kenneth Haidt. In the world of Elden Ring, there are many who believe that they have a right to rule. there are many who will not willingly give up their throne. But if you look around, you might just find that Marika has been in charge long enough, and things might be bad enough to start to reconsider her leadership, especially when Marika's stock portfolio is doing 3 times better than the S&P 500 average, bringing her $43 million in 2023, outperforming top traders while working in politics. Thank you for watching Deep Thoughts While Gaming. And remember, there are problems in the world, but don't listen to that maniac who's so jaded that he wants to just burn everything to the ground. Want to get good at supporting Deep Thoughts While Gaming? We have a new Patreon over at patreon.com/gamersunbeaten. Or you can hit that join button to become a channel member. You'll get access to an exclusive Discord server, live streams, videos, emojis, and NPC side quests that won't leave you in tears. And here's a video YouTube thinks you'll like, based on an algorithm that's in communication with strange outer gods.